I keep it simple.
Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to Matador News. I'm Rebecca Lopez.
And I'm Nicole Edenedo.
The CSUN Chicano Studies Department is celebrating its 45th anniversary this year. Faculty, students, and guests gathered on campus yesterday to commemorate the department's history and achievements. Students attended panel discussions and guest speaker lectures. Among the speakers were CSUN Chicano history professors George Garcia and Denise Sandoval. Students also learned about the careers that are available to them with a Chicano Studies degree. The Chicano Studies Department was founded in 1969 to respond to the growing demands of a more diverse curriculum.
Major League Baseball and the Dodgers are celebrating the 67th anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking baseball's color barrier. Robinson made his Major League debut with the Brooklyn Dodgers on April 15, 1947. Each year since 2009, every player wears Robinson's number 42 on this day. Jackie Robinson Day at Chavez Ravine begins at 11 when kids from Challengers Boys and Girls Club take the field for a baseball clinic. Tonight, the Dodgers will face the Giants in San Francisco, and all will be wearing number 42 to honor the life and legacy of Hall of Famer Jackie Robinson. Reporter Michael Teemant is standing by with a guest to talk about Jackie Robinson.
Marcy DeVeaux from the Journalism Department. Thank you for joining us here today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Now, with Jackie Robinson, he wasn't only a tremendous athlete and Hall of Fame baseball player, he was also known for a lot of the civil rights things he did for the movement. What are some of those things, and how does his legacy continue on in this day and age?
Well, he was really an extraordinary man, in addition to being an extraordinary athlete. I think his legacy really is he practiced nonviolence in a way that we hadn't seen. I mean, certainly Dr. Martin Luther King and people, young people, certainly college-age people who were participating in the sit-ins. But he was out on a national level working for the Brooklyn Dodgers and suffering great abuse while he was out there just trying to, play ball. And his legacy really is that he did not explode. He was just able to keep his eye on the prize and play ball.
And how did, there's the Jackie Robinson Foundation, what do they do and how do they continue on his legacy?
Yeah, his legacy is amazing. The Jackie Robinson Foundation raises funds both on the East Coast and the West Coast for scholarships for students, college students. There's a fundraiser here every year in October. It's a jazz concert. It raises millions of dollars for the Jackie Robinson Foundation. His wife, Betty, comes every year to the West Coast, right here in Sherman Oaks, for this big fundraiser, and there's always one on the East Coast. I think his legacy lives on forever.
Thank you. And when it comes to Jackie Robinson, a lot of times there's other first athletes. What sets him apart from other athletes that were some of the first big people in their sports, such as Joe Louis, Jesse Owens, and even like Muhammad Ali?
Well, I think more than what sets them apart, what brings them all together into the forefront is that they were amazing athletes. All of those men were incredible athletes, and it only made sense that at some point the sports organizations, the professional organizations, had to come after them. If they wanted to win games and if they wanted to win races and certainly boxing matches, they had to go after the best athletes, and those best athletes happened to be black men.
Well, thank you, Dr. Marcy, for joining us today.
My
Back
pleasure.
to you guys in the studio.
1 year after the Boston bombing marathon that took 3 lives and injured more than 200 others, the city is holding memorials to honor the victims. People visited memorials near last year's finish line, leaving notes, shoes, and other mementos in remembrance. Thousands of Bostonians, along with Vice President Biden, are attending the city's tribute.
They can't keep us down, and these kind of events, these terrorist acts that keep happening, we need to rise above them and prove that we're resilient and we're strong and that we can create something good out of something so awful.
The 118th Boston Marathon will be held on Patriots' Day, Monday, April 21st.
A community outside of Kansas City is trying to recover after a deadly shooting spree Sunday. An elderly man drove across a Jewish community center asking if residents were Jewish and then opening fire. 3 people were killed, including a doctor and his grandson. A local station captured a video of police arresting 70-year-old Fraser Glenn at the scene as he shouted at the cameras. Police are investigating the shooting as a possible hate crime. No clear motive has been released, and the FBI is also investigating. The suspect is identified as a white supremacist. None of his victims were Jewish.
Loved ones are speaking fondly of the bus driver killed in a crash with a FedEx truck in Northern California several days ago. The crash killed 10 people, including 5 high school students who were touring state college campuses. Talele Lealau was the driver of the charter bus. A FedEx truck crossed a 60-foot median, leading to a fiery crash.
Her job was important, and the lives of the people that's in the bus it's very, very important to her job.
Investigators are working to figure out what led.
Every time when I watch the news and I see the accident, it breaks my heart. And I know that's what her husband is going through with his kids right now.
Investigators are working to figure out what led to the accident. Family members of the divers and passengers are still waiting. Drivers and passengers are still waiting for answers.
Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti has unveiled his new $8.1 billion budget proposal. Garcetti is proposing no layoffs and several ways to save money. His plan is to increase the police department budget by nearly $25 million and the fire department budget by $11 million. His plan also budgets $20 million for sidewalk repairs.
Tax day is officially upon us. If you have yet to file, you're among the minority. At the end of last week, the IRS had received nearly 100 million tax returns. 90% of individuals file online, and experts say that can put people at risk for scams. The IRS is urging people to watch out for identity scams such as fake charities, emails from IRS impersonators, and shady tax preparers. If you want to be extra safe, you can file the old-fashioned way, by mail. Once you've filed, relax and celebrate with the dozens of tax day deals, including free cookies, curly fries, massages, and paper shredding if you can supply proof that you've filed.
Today is the dreaded tax day, but the IRS has created remedies for those who cannot afford to pay by April 15th. The IRS is providing a 6-month extension for those unable to pay by today. But the IRS will charge interest on any amount not paid by today's deadline. The IRS also came up with a payment plan for individuals who owe $50,000 or less. Form 9465 allows people to make monthly payments if they are not able to pay their tax debt immediately. That payment plan is interest-free.
And 3 Southern California post offices will stay open late until midnight for last-minute tax filers. Those locations are 7001 South Central Avenue in Los Angeles, 3101 West Sunflower Avenue in Santa Ana, and 28201 Franklin Parkway in Santa Clarita.
Google Glass has made its connected headsets available to the public. The $1,500 device allows a person to view web content on a small screen in front of their eyes and signals its wearer as a likely member of an affluent tech elite. The glass can also discreetly shoot photos or video, but the gadget has also led to arguments, altercations, and even attacks against people wearing the device.
Oh boy. Beef prices hit a new record high, and the drought is being blamed. Meat prices are expected to continue to rise 5 to 10%. A cattle analyst says the drought and cattle shortage will cause higher prices for a couple of years. Many people have switched from buying beef to more chicken, pork, and fish.
The number of deaths caused by Ebola has increased dramatically in Guinea. Guinea is located in West Africa and is one of the world's poorest countries and is suffering from the virus Ebola. Ebola incapacitates its victims and kills them quickly. Early symptoms of Ebola are headaches, fatigue, joint pain, rash, and bleeding. With no cure, nearly 112 people have died, including 14 healthcare workers.
A new study by Cambridge University suggests that people who nap more than an hour each day are 32% more likely to die early. The 13-year study found that frequent nappers had a greater risk of death by heart disease, cancer, and respiratory illness. Researchers say this study does not prove that naps lead to death, but that frequent naps may be an indicator of a serious health problem. Experts urge people to listen to their bodies and bring any constant fatigue issues up with their doctor.
And now over to sports with Monica Olivas.
Los Angeles Magazine is reporting that Dodgers phenomenon Yasiel Puig escaped from Cuba with help from a Mexican drug cartel. The May edition says Puig's escape was financed by a Miami businessman who paid the Los Secas cartel to smuggle Puig into Mexico. The article says Puig is obligated to pay 20% of his salary to Raul Pacheco, the Miami man who funded the escape. The Dodgers organization, Major League Baseball, and Puig have both refused to comment on the story. The Angels were looking to go over 500 for the first time since opening day last season, but fell short last night. The Angels were 2 outs away from celebrating a superb performance by left-hander Hector Santiago and the 496th home run of Albert Pujols. Instead, closer Ernesto Ferreri missed the location on the fastball, and the Oakland A's pinch hitter John Jazzo delivered a 2-run ninth-inning homer for a 2-3 victory at Angel Stadium. The CSUN men's golf team finished in 9th place after the first 2 rounds of the Santa Barbara Intercollegiate Tournament. Yesterday, the Matador team started the match 19 over par and finished 1 over par. Kyler Sauer led the team by finishing 3 under par. The 3rd round is being played today. The Matador's women's golf team is gunning for the Big West Championship. The ladies jumped into 2nd place after the first day of the competition yesterday. CSUN won back-to-back titles in 2003 and 2004. Should they beat the UC Davis Aggies, they will advance to the NCAA Western Regionals. And that's all for sports. Back to you, Nikki.
Thanks, Monica. The co-host of Live with Kelly and Michael is about to join the Good Morning America team. Michael Strahan's addition to the show has been in negotiation for months, but will not affect the current Good Morning America lineup. Strahan will continue his position with Kelly Ripa at Live and also contribute to GMA's first hour segment.
A judge has implied that Michael Jackson's mother should pay her son's concert promoter, AEG, more than $800,000. Superior Court Judge Yvette Palazuelos issued a tentative ruling yesterday against Katherine Jackson. The costs are associated with her failed lawsuit against AEG, who hired the doctor who was caring for Jackson before his death.
The Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival is one of the nation's largest and most acclaimed music events. The 2-weekend festival was headlined by Outkast, Muse, Pharrell Williams, Arcade Fire, and many more. Nearly 250,000 people are expected to attend this year's festival. Billboard reported Coachella grossed $67 million last year. The festival continues this coming weekend in Indio.
The moon turned red during a rare lunar eclipse that took place between the hours of 12 and 2:30 this morning. The view of the moon, blood moon, was most prominent in the North and South America. During the process, the moon turns red because of the shimmers of the sunset sweeping the atmosphere. The eclipse lured thousands of people to the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles. In case you missed it, North America will see a blood moon 4 times this year, now until September 2015. Thank you for watching Matador News. I'm Rebecca Lopez.
And I'm Nicole Edenedo.
Have a great afternoon.